This week on Another Brother.
But
I'm sure there's a ton of people out there who are going to want to be pirates, thoho.
Oh, yeah, the crap load of people that are just
so they're following very closely.
But maybe not.
I never lived with Grandma, but I might have been chilling with Grandma on the weekend.
Okay. For 5 years afterwards, if I smelled propane,
Start
I
growling.
would salivate and my stomach would growl.
Brother over here, brother over there, brother everywhere. Another brother.
My friend Travis, who is totally like Utah through and through, very Logan, Cache Valley, Utah. He looks so Slavic, like just very, I don't know, Eastern European looking. And so when we were over in Europe it was so funny because everyone would talk to him. He'd be like, why is everyone talking to me? I'm like, because they think you speak their language, dude. Because you look like that. He'd always get so mad. He's like, I do not.
Man, I heard that I looked like just so many weird random things when I was in Italy. Like, I talked to one missionary about how we were starting to get into being Scottish. She was from Sweden. No, sorry, Switzerland.
Swiss, not Swede.
Yeah. I did know an elder from Sweden, but this sister missionary, she thought, once I said it, she was like, oh, yeah, sure, yeah, you look Scottish. I was like, okay. I don't actually know what that even means yet. At that point, I had no idea what it meant to look Scottish. And I'm still not sure I really know.
No.
I mean, the only real literary description I've ever seen of someone Scottish is Sherlock Holmes, who is tall and lanky.
No.
And that's not what you normally think of for a Scotsman.
Right.
In, what's the story and who's the author? If I had my phone off an airplane, I could look. Kidnapped? Is that the story? He describes a Stewart, even. Alan Breck Stewart, I think. And he describes him as a short of stature, dark-haired, wild-eyed looking man with...
We did it!
With, like a pockmarked face, which is the sign of...
Spoke too soon.
No. So that's the sign of having lived through, what is it? Cowpox or something. There's some
Small.
I can't remember.
Pox.
But yeah, so these pocked cheeks on his face, but wherever he went, he always had like 2 swords and 2 silver pistols on his hip and was like just a crazy guy.
Cool.
But when I was in Germany, the Germans pegged me for German.
I've heard that one too.
Which is weird because all of the Germans that I was around were like pretty tall, much taller than I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, darker hair and everything, darker features. But
Shall we be citizens of the stars?
before you start, since you're trying to figure out what you're going to do,
I'm waffling.
I saw a morphologist
yeah.
video today.
Yeah. Is the new one today?
Yeah, on 3.18. Or is that Python? I don't know.
Yeah, it's 3.18 is the next update, yeah.
Yeah, and he talks about the soft kill.
Right. Yes.
So, newest and greatest.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that a little bit.
Cool.
So Star Citizen is a massively multiplayer online game that is nothing like World of Warcraft, the most commonly known massively multiplayer online game. Massively multiplayer online game just means it's played by a bunch of people all at the same time and it's online. The point of the game is to kind of just live a fantasy life out in space in the year 2952 doing something that you think would be a cool thing to do in the future. Like, if you really want to be, if you want to do something that some people would call really boring, you can deliver packages. That's a type of job you can have. You can be a cargo hauler, which involves a lot more. It's more like Wild West cargo hauling, where like you got to have somebody riding shotgun in your turret to take out the pirates that are definitely going to come for you, because the law isn't a great resource out in space. Because how do you police all of outer space?
What about probably one of the most fascinating jobs you can do, which is mapping wormholes?
Yeah, there's not a lot of information on that yet, but in fact, they've kind of changed that since they've first talked about it back in, I don't know, 2013 or something like that. But the ship that I bought originally was made for that purpose, for mapping what they call jump points in the game. There's going to be some undiscovered wormholes out there that, if you have the right computers on your ship, as you are piloting by hand, manually piloting your ship through this thing, the computer will be recording the course that you take to get through it correctly without falling out into, I don't even know where. We don't like to think about
How it
Spaghetti.
works. Spaghetti.
Yeah, your computer will record the course necessary, and then
I mean,
you can
You're
sell that
piloting by
data.
hand.
Yeah, right.
Is this something that's already live? Can you already be doing this?
No, there are no jump points that
Okay.
you can pilot.
So we don't know what the visualization itself looks like.
That's
so
not
that
true.
You know you're
We do know-
in the wormhole.
We know. Oh, well, you're gonna know when you're in the wormhole. They've shown some previs effects that
Okay.
are probably going to be what we end up with.
All right, I gotta look that up.
It looks very much like you're inside of. It reminded me of what it would look like to be inside of a heart, like flying your ship through a heart, through all these valves, and like if
So
like if all of
wormholes
your
will split.
Yep.
Oh,
There will
wow.
be forks here and there, but
Jeez.
I'm sure they converge again back into
Yeah.
the same thing. And it's constantly pulsing.
Okay.
Like if,
So it's very clear you're approaching the edge.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very close to real wormholes.
Yeah, they did a really good job. I'm sure they
simulated.
talked to NASA and,
Yeah, Elon Musk and
Interstellar guy.
right.
Shoot,
Yeah.
Who was that?
Some supercomputer
Matt
models.
Damon.
Nolan.
Yeah. And then once you have those coordinates recorded in your computer, you can sell it to,
Okay, that's cool.
I mean, that's kind of the idea. It's not very well defined right now how that's going to work, but
Yeah.
that's what I've been working off of.
I watched a video of a guy with a sweet little 4-wheel rig on a planet with a laser blasting minerals to
Mining.
to mine.
Yeah, that's called a shoot.
mining. Isn't it just mining?
Well, yeah, that
The
that
rig
career
is on,
path,
though.
that game.
Oh,
Yeah, but that piece, it's a rock, an ROC,
It's a
a little
that's
4-wheeler
taken
with
already.
like a
It's giant
laser
bird.
arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, ROC.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure what other people in the community call it, if they call it a rock or if they call it an ROC, but I've always called it a rock.
is it a remotely
I see.
operated something?
I don't think it's remotely
Oh,
operated
yeah,
because
you're
you're sitting in the
driving
seat.
it.
Oh, dang.
Controlling the arm with the laser and everything.
But that's something you can do. You know, you can throw one of these into the back of like a pickup truck type ship and fly down to a planet, scan for minerals, go mine them, and refine them at a space station and sell that ore. You can, I mean,
Or if I don't want to do all the hard work and I want to let you do all the prospecting and mining, then I can just interdict your ship in flight, go into FPS
Tractor
mode.
beam.
Well, there's no tractor. Yeah, eventually you'll be able to tractor beam. They're not implemented yet.
Oh, really?
no ship tractor beams.
Yeah,
but
no
they have
ship
little
yet.
handheld
Okay.
ones.
But yeah, I would have to force you to pull over and or sneakily board your ship. But then we've got like hand-to-hand weapons and first-person shooter rifles, battle rifles, lasers, percussive like kinetic ammunitions, anything from sniper rifles to battle rifles to handguns. and you can go into like full-on FPS shipboarding mode, and then I can steal all your cargo and load it up in my ship.
FPS in this instance means first-person shooter.
Pew pew.
And yeah, they're actually changing that up. They're changing cargo, the way cargo works. So right now, if you blow up someone's ship,
Yes, I just saw a video about this.
a small portion of the cargo they were carrying will just be scattered around in tiny little boxes. They're changing that up so that up to 95% of it can be salvaged, reclaimed in the larger cargo containers that everybody's been wanting it to spawn as. I've never really cared about cargo a whole lot personally, so I haven't been paying attention to the ins and outs specifically of exactly how things are changing, but everybody's
I'm sure
pretty
there are a ton
excited.
of people out there who are going to want to be pirates, though.
Oh yeah, the crap load
Yeah.
of people that are just
yeah.
gonna
So they're
Piss
following
me
very
off.
closely.
big time. Yeah, it changes everything for these people. And in 318,
It makes it lucrative now.
Right.
If you can get that much of
The average is 45% of the cargo load will be dispersed.
I think
be
60 to
claimable.
45%
Yeah.
is what they're shooting for.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, dang.
And in the next update to the game, 3.18, ships are supposed to be able to be disabled without them exploding. Right now, you shoot a ship enough, it explodes. There's no disabling a ship to like pirate it. It explodes, and then maybe you get some of the loose cargo out of that.
Okay.
If you can find it.
If you can find it, because the boxes are teeny tiny.
And it's, you're in space, so everything's super black.
Well, you're not necessarily in space. You could have taken them down in atmosphere.
Yeah, true.
Or they could be landed on the ground even, and you sneak up on them, fly in fast, attack.
Ooh.
That's one of the greatest things about this game is that if you, it's like The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. If you can see the place, you can go there. You can put your feet on it. You can land there. There's no animation that takes you from outer space down to a specific landing spot down on the planet, and you can only get out there. No, you can fly anywhere, all the way down to a planet, get out, do stuff, explore a cave, maybe even take a mission where you're trying to find someone who disappeared, and the last known place they went to was a cave. They were going to go spelunking, and they told someone, and you have to go find them in that cave, which used to be the way that I made most of my money. I would take those missions and my little handheld mining laser, and I'd go down into these caves, do some handheld mining while looking for bodies. It was kind of fun, at the time. There wasn't a whole lot of gameplay at that point in time in the game yet, but
That was the most mind-blowing thing for me the first time I played was starting off on a space station, getting my ship delivered to a loading point, getting on, flying out, and I didn't know how to quantum spool or quantum jump or anything. And so literally flying for like an hour and a half in real time.
No.
Because there was a planet that had been developed already, and I really wanted to get to this dang planet, but I didn't know how to quantum spool or quantum jump or whatever. And so I put a TV show on and just pointed my ship in the right direction and just
Are you kidding me?
held the forward arrow key down, or WASD, whatever.
W.
And
I hope you knew how to decouple your engines from...
this was so early. No. And still a contention point I have is there's so many controls to remember. It's pretty
many.
complex,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's worth it. But yeah, just flying for
unavoidable.
literally like an hour and a half, 2 hours of real Earth time, but then seeing the planet on the horizon, and then your ship just enters atmosphere, and now you're flying with atmospheric physics, and then all the way up until you land. It's just wild. Like the whole thing just streamed in, and it definitely made it feel like physicality, like you were physically moving through this space.
And did we mention the planets are procedurally generated?
Yeah.
So these aren't like developers and designers going in there and handcrafting, building out every single planet.
Yeah, a lot of the impressive things that your average video game player probably doesn't understand, not respect,
Or
but
care about even
care
really.
about is all of the effort going and funding and resourcing going into developing the tools and the tech stack behind making this game work. There's so many technical feats, to the servers, how the servers are doing this persistent universe, and just, I don't know, it's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of it is stuff that just nobody has really done before. Some of it maybe has been done before, but not on this scale. And because of the scale, you have to make some fundamental changes to make it work at this scale. Because like these planets, they're obviously not full scale planets. One thing that I've always been interested in is how are they going to reproduce Earth? What scale are they going to do? Because our system, star system, the Sol system, will be in the game at some point.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I want to know what kind of scale they're going to give Earth.
Well, for Foundry 42, isn't Earth going to be
Squadron 42.
Or Squadron? Oh my god, Foundry 42. What's Foundry?
I can't
42?
think. I don't know. It was on the tip of my
Is that
tongue.
Warhammer? Foundry. There's some. That might be the guys that do Warhammer.
Okay, it is sounding familiar now.
I can't think of it.
But yeah, Squadron 42. There's a big part on Earth, right?
I don't know. I know a lot of the game is supposed to take place out at this mining facility. It's a really intense looking place from what they've shown, with like really if I'm not getting confused with like Star Wars or something, giant hunks of rock with like red lightning shooting between them. It looks like really intense. I might be confusing different things. Like,
Are there stormtroopers in your memory?
the next star system coming to Star Citizen in update 4.0 is called Pyro, and there's a lot of red lightning in that system too. So I may be confusing different visuals, but yeah. But that's a good point too. Like, Star Citizen is an online multiplayer game, but there will also be, made by the same people, a single player / multiplayer cooperative offline focused campaign experience where you're going through a story, where you play as... The original idea was that you will play as the character that you will be playing in Star Citizen, but this is your time in the United Earth Navy, where like every citizen spends a couple years serving in the Navy. Kind of like in Italy, you either spend a couple years as a first responder or a couple of years in the military. Everybody does it. It's mandatory. I'm sure they have like different health things that can get you a pass, but like that, you'll be playing in this single player campaign, doing your time in the Navy, and there's going to be a war on with, I think, the Banu. It's a race of somewhat stereotypical, at least right now, we don't really know how the story is going to play out. Stereotypical looking like space piratey alien bad guys with sharp pointy teeth and limbs that articulate in directions that are not quite like ours. And it's going to be pretty freaking sweet. They've gone all out on this thing. There were, I think, 10,000 pages of dialogue or something like that they had to shoot. And they got real freaking actors. Mark Hamill. Gary Oldman.
Oh, did they?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep.
Oh, shoot. No, not... shoot, what's her name?
What's her
Gillian
name?
Anderson from
Yes.
X-Files.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, Andy Serkis.
Good one.
He's doing mocap, of course.
Yeah.
He's a mocap guy. Well, I mean,
they
technically
mocap
speaking,
everybody.
Everybody was performance captured,
Yeah.
but he's doing mocap acting
alien.
for an alien for someone non-human.
Of course.
Because he's like
Specialty.
the mocap king, and he is. I mean, Andy Serkis is the boss. He's going to be playing like the leader of the aliens we're at war with.
Okay, so is there an ETA for this? Not that it would be
Absolutely
reliable.
not.
Dang it.
Yeah, they stopped even
Promising.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
The last time they said it was coming out, it was going to be coming out in 2016, I think. They might have said 2020 at one point, but
That's part of the controversy behind this game because we've been crowdfunding it
It's a
for so
big
long.
controversy.
Yeah. And then
They've reached just over $500 million in crowdfunding.
yeah.
So people want the game.
I mean, it's very playable. The Star Citizen aspect of
The verses, yeah.
Yeah, it's very playable. There's still a lot of bugs, and you're basically guinea pigs for the development team. But gosh, it's still fun. Oh man, I love the winter. It's cold though. All right, I gotta make me some tea here. Hold on. All right, here's some water. All right, let's just put this on the stove here. Get that boiling. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for this tea. Oh, you know what? I think really fondly of you, boiling water. Gosh, you're gonna be missed.
hey kids, do you know what time it is?
Story time!
So there I was. It was the year 2009, I think, maybe 2010. I had just spent a year or two applying to 2 jobs a week without getting anything. No interviews, nothing. I was apparently really bad at making resumes. And I finally got a job on a hot air balloon ground crew.
Oh, yeah.
I just have the weirdest stuff in my resume. I mean, I don't put any of this on my resume anymore, but I guess in my CV, I've got just so much random crap. This is one of those things. And it was a weird job. The founder and owner, one-time owner of LDSsingles.com was I'm not really sure what you call them. You don't pilot a balloon. They're not called pilots. I think they're
Inflators?
aeronauts.
Oh, that's better.
Aeronaut.
I think you're an aeronaut when you control a balloon. But he was one. He had a balloon. It was a big basket and a big envelope.
What's an envelope?
That's the balloon. That's what it's technically called, an envelope. And he was able to take 8 people up, not
big
including
basket.
himself. Yeah. So total of 9 people up there. And everyone's always asking me, what was your insurance like that you got to do this for work? Oh, I didn't get to do that for work. I was on the ground crew. You don't hire people to go up in the balloon with you. They're useless up there.
Just taking money away.
It's one person controlling the balloon. What you need is people on the ground to weigh the balloon down once it's time to land. You just jump onto the side of the basket as soon as it touches down to try and hold it there. But we'll get there. There's a lot of stuff you do. So I get a call the night before at like 10 p.m., maybe even 11 p.m. sometimes. Hey, I need you tomorrow morning at 4:30 just be ready outside because he knew where to pick me up.
Yeah, this is when all three of us were rooming together.
No.
It wasn't?
No.
Oh.
I was alone.
Grandma Robinson's house. I feel like I was at Grandma's house when this happened. I don't know why.
I think you were married.
Huh.
But maybe not.
I might have been. I never lived with Grandma, but I might have been chilling with Grandma on the weekend.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I should say this was a summer job. This was
yeah.
not during the school year.
Okay.
Okay, that's right.
And if it was during the school year, then we only really flew on weekends. But yeah, I think I got out of the job before school came back around. But over the summer, I did this. 4:30 in the morning, he picks me up out on the street on, what was that, Canyon Road? He'd pick me up. There would usually be someone else that he had picked up before me in the truck with him, and we'd hop in the truck, and behind the truck there'd be a trailer that had the basket and the envelope, and we'd drive out to one of two parks. One was in Lehigh, very close to the Timpanogos Temple. There was a pretty big park to the southwest of the temple. That was the place that we preferred to launch from because it was a really big park. And there were other ballooners that would often launch from there too. And they're an important part of this story because whenever there were other ballooners that you launched with, it was tradition to go get breakfast together after you landed.
Funny.
The people, I guess the customers, your passengers, meet you at the park. And the first thing we do is we lay the basket out and the envelope. We get the envelope all hooked up to the top frame of the basket and get the envelope laid out on its side, nice and straight and flat. And then we make sure that the various lines that are used to control the balloon, to open different flaps and stuff, are all straight and whatnot. That the crown line was attached to the top of the balloon. The top of the envelope is called the crown, and there's a rope that goes from the top of the balloon out away from the basket, and you just pull that all the way out. It was like, I don't know, maybe 200-foot rope. And then you set up a couple of fans down at the, I'm not sure what the technical term was anymore, but like what I would call the mouth of the envelope, the part where the torches would like heat everything up. You get a bunch of fans just pointed inside of that as one person holds that open, and they just start blowing air in. Once there's enough air in there that it kind of starts to blow up a bit, you can start using the burners to start heating that air up. And eventually you start to get the envelope to stand up. And I was always put on the crown line. I hated it. It's the worst job. I mean, it's not supposed to be, but my boss was such a turd about doing this right. His instructor would constantly berate him for being terrible at getting his balloon up. He was way too slow. So my job was to just hold this giant balloon down as much as I could so that when it stood up, it didn't go past all the way up and then start pendulating, doing a pendulum thing back and forth.
Pendulating.
I love it.
I'm supposed to keep it from going up too fast so that it just goes all the way straight.
It just stands.
But
They had just you doing that.
Yeah, usually it was just me. You should, I mean, the way he was doing it, we should have had 3 people on that.
That's
thing.
crazy. Yeah, we've gone to a bunch of festivals, and balloonists have had me come and jump on a rope with their crew before.
Well, they were probably better at their job than this guy.
They probably thought if they could get you involved, you'd pay for a ticket too.
Right. there were no handles, it was just a rope. So I had to like wrap the rope around my hands, and it was just squeezing my hands. It felt like my hands were going to break. And then, whenever I wasn't perfect at keeping it from pendulating, I swear that's a word.
Should be.
Really don't think yes.
Oscillating. I would get berated by my boss. I'm like, dude, you're doing it. Even I knew he was doing it wrong. Like, you're going so slow. You're taking all of the strength out of me. I don't have the endurance to just hold this giant balloon down for forever. But anyway, you get that thing standing up. You've got extra ballast weights in the basket, like sandbags or something. And you get all the passengers in.
Are those going to come into the story at any point?
No.
Can I ask you a quick question then?
Yeah.
You always see, like, on TV, they want to go...
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right. They want to change their buoyancy, I suppose.
Right.
And so they cut one and they drop it.
Yeah.
Do they really just cut those things?
I mean, probably once upon a time they did that, but that is not a part of normal ballooning nowadays. Maybe if you're like racing or something, or there's some kind of...
I just suddenly had
a thing?
the
Balloon
image
racing,
in my mind
totally.
of someone getting clocked with this bag of sand that fell from the sky.
Yeah. No, that's not... I mean, honestly, I don't even remember there being those weights in the basket. I'm just saying it because I've been programmed by television for my whole life. I honestly don't remember any extra weights except for us. Once the balloon was standing, other people on the crew would just be hanging onto the outside of the basket to be that extra ballast weight.
Yeah.
I just picture some guy's face like in a just straight dire panic, just like, hurry up, get on the balloon.
I mean, that's with this boss in particular, that's kind of the way it was. Once it was up, it was time to go. You got everybody into the basket, and you kind of we timed when he started the burners to when we jumped off the basket, and then away they went. And from there, our job was basically like the movie Twister, where we're in the truck chasing the balloon tornado, watching different signs of wind on the ground so that when it's time for him to land, we know what to tell him. You've got ground wind going in this direction at about this speed, so you know what to expect. We're also spotting power lines and things that he might not be able to see from up there, telling him where they are. We've got radios. We're talking to him over radio. Yeah. And the way you control the balloon is by climbing or descending. And at different layers, there will be different wind directions and speeds, and you just use those to push your balloon around. That's how you fly a balloon.
Did he have any instrumentation with him, though, that read that and gave him that info? Or was he just
have to,
it on his own?
Yeah, you go up and down, you just kind of feel it as you're going up. Pay attention to what you're running into. And
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, there might be stuff like that for more professional people. I don't know.
Well, so even Heather's dad, he paraglides.
Right.
He's got stuff.
Cool.
To use while he's out there flying.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he had some of this stuff. I don't remember it, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just follow him around, driving the truck. I ended up driving the truck a lot, too.
But you're like staying to roads and things.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're trying to keep an eye on them.
Correct.
Or you're radioing in.
Yeah.
Information.
When I was driving, I was not on the radio. I had someone else next to me.
You're following like roughly parallel to their
Yeah.
direction of flight or whatever.
Right. Follow him. He'll radio down that he's going to start his descent and he wants to land at roughly this place. And we'll try to get to that place before him while the other person is watching where he's at, trying to tell me he's actually going to touch down sooner or he's going to miss that spot and go over here probably.
Sounds so absurd.
It's pretty crazy. And it's super fun, though. I mean, it sucked being up that early in the morning. but it was pretty fun. And then we would get out of the truck once it looked like, yeah, he's definitely going to touch down here. And we get out to where we can follow the basket until it's all the way on the ground, and then we just jump onto the side of it. And hopefully there's not a lot of ground wind, or else the basket will tip over and everybody will fall out, and it can be kind of violent. But most of the time we landed fine. Then it's a matter of packing all of that stuff up into the trailer. You throw the passengers into the trailer along with the basket. They just sit in the basket.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny.
And at that point, driving is pretty intense because you don't want to stop too suddenly. You really can't start too suddenly. You're towing too much weight. I mean, not so much weight, but yeah, you just want to be easy on the brakes. And then we would go back to the park, drop off the passengers to their vehicles so they can drive home. And then we would go refill the propane tanks. And as I said, if we launch from a park where there were other ballooners, then it was tradition for us to go to Jim's Diner in American Fork and get breakfast together afterwards. And this boss was pretty cool. He paid for breakfast for us whenever we went. And we did usually launch from that park. And when we did, there were usually other ballooners. So we had breakfast afterwards pretty frequently. And we always refilled the burners, the propane tanks, before going to breakfast. And it got to the point where my brain forged a connection between the smell of the propane and the food I was about to eat. For 5 years afterwards, if I smelled propane, I would salivate and my stomach would growl. It was a very literal Pavlovian response. I would get so hungry.
I wonder if that's why your boss, he was compelled to do this because he had created
he had that same thing,
the Pavlovian
right
requirement in himself. He's like, oh man, we have to go get some food.
Oh, we're about to eat breakfast? I gotta get some propane. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dang it, that's what I was going to do.
Oh, shoot. Do it. You're going to do it better.
Thank you
for being our brother.
Wow,
That might be too energetic, though.
Okay. we'll take another run at it then.
Okay.
For being our brother. That the first one was too energetic.
Gotcha.
For show notes and other brother goodness, check out our website.
Be sure to come back next week.
And tell your friends so they too can become a
Brother over here, brother over there, brother everywhere. Another brother.